Hello! Welcome back to Boxes and Bubbles, where today we're going to talk about Dark Knights of Steel #1, published by DC Comics, written by Tom Taylor, art by Yasmine Putri, and letters by Wes Abbot. First, let's talk about Tom Taylor. He wrote Injustice for DC, he's also writing the amazing series 7 Secrets, he's writing a great run on Nightwing, and he's been in the news most recently for making Superman's son, John Kent, bisexual. Now he's writing the Dark Knights of Steel for DC, and this is a really awesome take on the DC universe. So what's happening here is basically all the characters that we know and love from DC are in the olden times. I want to say medieval Europe. Could be wrong, but you know the kind of time I'm talking about, where there's castles and horses and knights and that kind of thing. At the beginning of the book, we see the destruction of Krypton, and Jor-El and a heavily pregnant Lara escape to Earth. When they get out of their pod thing, there's a bunch of guys on horses with weapons aimed at them, and Jor-El has no choice but to destroy them. Lara's about to give birth, and he doesn't want anything to get in the way of that. So unfortunately, he uses his laser eye beams to destroy them. The outcome of that, though, is that they become revered as gods. And in this time period, Bruce Wayne's parents are currently the monarchs, but because of how powerful Jor-El and Lara are, they become the monarchs, which is something that Jor-El is not particularly happy about. Since they're the king and the queen and the prince, Bruce Wayne becomes their champion, their kind of knight. And he and his band of Robins, who are his Robins, they go around collecting information for him, are looking for anybody who has superpowers, because back in this time, they think it's magic. And you know, any form of magic is dangerous to anyone from Krypton. What's really cool is seeing Batman wearing his trademark Batman suit, but this time it's all plate armor. He's got a helmet with little bat ears on, and he's got his wrist pieces with spikes. It's Batman's suit, but it's all silver. It's really, really cool. So as I mentioned, the Robins are looking for anybody who's showing signs of having magical ability, and they found somebody called the Banshee. I think this is meant to be Black Canary, but my DC knowledge is not the best. So they follow the Black Canary to the inn that she's staying in, and Batman goes to have a fight with her. She screams in his face, and the inn explodes, but Batman is fine. And that's when the crux of the story comes to light. Previously, there had been an attack on the royal family, believed to have been ordered by a neighbouring rival king, King Jefferson. That will be Black Lightning. Since that attack, Batman's felt different, something has changed, and he thinks he's been cursed. And a curse is a form of magic and therefore deadly to the royal family. So what Bruce decides to do is have a talk with the king about that on the rooftop. And while they're having a talk, the sky becomes dark and lightning starts to flash around. And for me, it tricked me into thinking that somebody was going to get struck by lightning. And that's when things take a turn and something else happens to one of the characters. Who gets hit by what is a big spoiler, and it's the very end page. And it's not something that I need to talk about the rest of the comic, so I won't give that one away. But this is so fun. It's really cool to see these characters in a different time period, and how things have turned out kind of differently because of where they are and what happened. This one is called Dark Knights of Steel, and because of the time period that we're in and the kind of tone of the story, it would be easy to give this one dark colours and make it all gritty and nasty. But actually the art in this one is lovely. It's really bright and colourful. The environments are gorgeous, and the characters themselves look nice too. Nobody's really ugly or looking worn down. Everybody looks fresh-faced and bright, sparkly. If you've seen my other videos, you might know how I feel about colouring in comics. It's one of the most crucial elements for me, and these colours are lovely. There's some really beautiful sunsets in here, and even the parts that take place at night have kind of light coming in from somewhere like a fire or from the outside. So everything's kind of still not dark, it's kind of bright with the impression that it's nighttime. This is one that you need some knowledge of the DC universe to read, and it's the first time for me that I've read a book like that and known who the characters were and been like, oh, that's this guy or that's this person. So that was really fun for me to piece that together. Some of the names might have changed a little bit, but the powers are still the same. This issue sets up the world so nicely and all the characters too, but I really have no idea which direction the story is going to go. We know that there's the royal family and we know that there's the rivaling King Jefferson, but we don't really know what's going to happen between them. Something definitely starts to happen at the end of the issue, but where it's going to lead and what will happen from that, I have no idea. But Tom Taylor is definitely a writer you can trust to bring out something awesome. So I'm looking forward to reading more of this one. And you should too, it was great fun. That's all for this one, but make sure to check out the rest of the channel if you want to hear about some other comics that came out recently, and follow me at Boxes&bubbles on Twitter if you want to hear about virtually every comic book that comes out every week. I read a lot of comic books and don't have enough time to make videos for all of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!